The truth about the Blackbriar estate was simple. It was never supposed to exist anymore. Every official map, every state record, and even the local registry showed that the mansion had been demolished in the late 1980s after a chain of mysterious deaths. But the people of Hemlock Grove whispered something different, that the mansion had only disappeared from sight, not from the land. That it still stood hidden somewhere deep behind the overgrown forest, waiting for anyone unfortunate enough to stumble across it. 19-year-old Caleb and his older sister Hannah never intended to find the place. They were simply driving through the Appalachian region for a photography road trip when their GPS glitched. They took a wrong turn, and suddenly they were stuck in a maze of forest roads growing darker with every passing mile. The deeper they went, the more the trees seemed to swallow their headlights. Caleb yawned in the passenger seat. "Hannah, maybe we should turn around. This feels wrong." Hannah kept her eyes on the narrow road. "We can't. No signal, no map. If we turn back blindly, we'll be stranded in these woods all night." "We're already stranded," Caleb muttered. The road curved sharply downward, and then the trees parted. A huge clearing, a cold silver moon, and in the center of the clearing, a mansion. Ancient, rotting, massive, its windows pitch black, its silhouette jagged against the night sky. It felt less like a building and more like a creature crouched in the dark waiting. Hannah slowed the car. "What is that?" Caleb sat straight up. "That wasn't here a second ago. That place wasn't here at all." The car sputtered, headlights flickering, engine dying with a final cough. Silence. Then the cold air outside pressed against the windows like something breathing. Hannah checked her phone. No signal. A gust of wind blew through the clearing, and the mansion's front door slowly creaked open, inward. Caleb whispered, "Did you see that? Wind doesn't open doors inward." But the cold now filled the car like invisible fingers. They were forced to step outside and walk toward the mansion. Its open door waited for them like a mouth ready to swallow. Inside, the air smelled of rot, dust, and dried blood. A grand foyer opened before them, spiral staircase, broken chandelier, hanging cobwebs. But the detail that froze them was fresh footprints. Bare feet, wet, leading deeper into the darkness. "There's someone here," Hannah said softly.
Caleb shook his head. "Not someone. Look at the shape. No human feet look like that." A whisper drifted from upstairs. Hannah lifted her flashlight. A figure stood at the top of the stairs. A woman, horrifically thin, bones sharp under her skin, neck twisted at an unnatural angle. Her hair hung like dripping black threads, and her eyes glowed with dead white light. Caleb froze. "Hannah, don't move." The woman didn't breathe, didn't blink. Then her jaw cracked open, wider than any human jaw should. A voice gurgled out, "Well, come back." Hannah screamed, "Run!" They sprinted down a long hallway, lined with portraits of the same family. As they ran, every set of painted eyes slowly turned to follow them. Behind them, bare feet slapped against wood, fast, too fast. They crashed into a nursery and barricaded the door. Inside were dusty toys scattered across the floor, and a crib against the wall. Caleb stepped toward it. "Hannah, there's someone inside." "Caleb, don't!" He pulled back the blanket. It wasn't a child. It was a carved doll with a disturbingly lifelike face and a mouth sewn shut with strands of human hair. Something knocked on the window behind them. 3 slow taps. They turned. 3 pale figures stood outside the glass, faces pressed against it, mouths stretching wider and wider like silent screams. Caleb staggered back. "We're trapped." Hannah pulled him out through another door. The house had changed, walls shifting, corridors bending, doors appearing and disappearing. The mansion was alive. and it wanted them. They entered a massive ballroom. The piano in the center began to play by itself, a slow, haunting melody. Then an old man appeared from the shadows, spine bent backward, head twisted upside down, eye sockets dripping thick black liquid. He moved toward them in sharp, unnatural jerks. They ran down a spiral staircase into the basement. The stench of rot and old blood struck them immediately. There was a metal door ahead, reinforced, locked from outside, as though something inside needed to be kept in. The lock was broken, the door slightly open. Caleb whispered, "We're not going in there." But footsteps approached from behind. They had no choice. Inside, bodies, dozens, hanging, sitting, chained. Mummified faces frozen mid-scream. A journal lay open on the floor. Hannah picked it up. The house breathes. It chooses who to keep. It wants families. It wants blood. It wants us. At the bottom was one final line, smeared as if written while the author was dragged away. "Run if you can." A deep, wet breath rose behind them. A towering shadow rose from the corner, limbs too long, fingers scraping the floor, mouth stretching across its entire face. It lunged. They slammed the door shut and ran as the creature bent the metal from the other side. Upstairs, through the hall, into the foyer. The front door was open. Their car headlights were on. They ran, dove inside, and the engine roared to life instantly. As they sped away, Caleb looked back. The mansion was gone, just an empty clearing under the moon. Hours later, at sunrise, they told the sheriff what they had seen. He listened quietly, and then said, "The Blackbriar estate burned down in '87. The whole family died inside. No bodies were ever found." Caleb's heart froze. "Then what did we see?" The sheriff stared at them. "Some places don't stay dead," he said softly. "They wait for new blood." Hannah whispered, "We were supposed to become part of it." The sheriff nodded. "And if you ever pass those woods again, it might still be waiting for you." If you want more stories like this, deep, chilling, and impossible to forget, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps the horror alive and waiting for you.